I, 37 male, have been married to my husband, 41, for 4 years. I came out to my family as bi when I was a teen, and from the very beginning they were nothing but supportive, and to this day almost my entire family accepts me as who I am. My niece, 20 female, is the only exception. She's my brother's, 43, daughter, and despite her parents showing no prejudices against the LGBTQ+ community, she doesn't make a secret of her hate for me. I don't know where her beliefs stem from, but the day I first introduced my husband and then boyfriend to her family, she's been very hostile towards us. She was a teen at the time. She refuses to speak to my husband, barely acknowledges us at family gatherings, and despite her father constantly chastising her, frequently uses slur to refer to members of the LGBTQ+ community and calls same-gender relationships disgusting. Due to a severe flooding, my brother and his family have been forced to evacuate their house. My husband and I have a guest room and a sofa bed in our living room, so when my brother asked us whether his family could stay at our place for a while, I told him that him, his wife and their younger children, teen female and tween male, were very welcome to stay as long as they needed to, but that we weren't comfortable letting his older daughter stay with us. He seemed to have been expecting that answer and told me that he understood my reasons. When we broke the news to his daughter, she was furious, asking where else she was going to stay and that she had nowhere else to go. From what I know, my brother offered to help her pay for a cheap hotel, but she doesn't want to dip into her savings because she doesn't work and she's been living with my brother rent-free. Apparently, she's been staying with a friend for a few days and she's been telling her mother how awful it is there. My brother is still supporting my decision, but his wife has started trying to convince me to let her eldest daughter move in. She's been pushing me to get over her comments because my niece is still young and naive, and that she couldn't have known her actions would have major consequences. She's advising me to be the bigger person and not let my hard feelings for her daughter stop me from helping a family member because that would be an idiot thing to do. Not the idiot, she's living with the consequences of her horribleness by having to stay somewhere she doesn't like because she couldn't keep her mouth shut about her disgusting views on your relationships. If I were you, I'd say that you're happy to let her stay as soon as she genuinely and honestly proves she no longer feels that way towards you and your husband. I would never let someone who disrespected me and my husband stay with us, family or not, unless they were literally about to be on the streets, which she isn't, and even then it would be the very, very last option. Oh, what her mother meant was, she didn't realize she would someday need the person she was dehumanizing. Tough, this is the find-out stage. Don't deny her this important life lesson. The irony that if she'd gone woke, she wouldn't have gone broke. LOL. She's been staying with a friend. No one needs to offer up free living just because a family doesn't want to stay with said friend. Also, if it's awful there, she won't be happy staying with you either. She already rejected a paid-for hotel. On top of that, she's already judgmental as heck. You can expect that she'll make snide remarks as she has in the past about your lifestyle choices, then double down on how your place sucks because it's not her room. Who wants to deal with that? Let her be mad, she already acts like an entitled snob. Agreed. Next time she pulls out the "she's too young to know" line, tell her that natural consequences are how people learn. She's never going to stop unless she faces some form of difficulty. It's also time for another big girl lesson in life, which is, you don't always get to hoard your savings. Savings are for emergencies, like not having somewhere to stay. She has the money and the ability. She's trying to guilt-trip them into letting her keep her money safe. My best friend was visiting me this week, and since it's summer we decided we wanted to go to the pool. She's been on antidepressants for the past 2 years, which has made her gain a ton of weight. She used to be very slim and skinny like me, but the meds have completely changed her body composition. She brought a few bathing suits and was asking for my opinion on them. She had a one-piece and a bikini she was deciding between. She kept saying she looked too fat in the bikini and might wear the one-piece. I actually thought the one-piece looked better, but I didn't say anything because it was up to her. She modelled both for me and asked for my opinion. All I said was, I like the one-piece better. She asked me if I thought she looked fat in the bikini, and I said no, I just like the other one better. She started to act super triggered and kept accusing me of thinking she's fat, and I told her to wear whatever she wants. She put on the one-piece and kept making snarky comments about how I think she's fat, and I would ignore her, but she kept taunting me with comments, so I just snapped and said, yeah, you shouldn't wear a bikini because it doesn't look good on you. Happy now? Is that what you wanted me to say so badly? She just started packing her bags and went somewhere. I haven't heard from her since. I heard from our mutual friend Ali that she's safe. She just went to a hotel and rebooked her flight. But Ali told me that apparently my friend told her that I called her fat, and Ali says I could have handled the situation better even when I told her the real story. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She knew the bikini looked terrible on her. She just wanted you to convince her it didn't, and when you refused, she pitched a fit. Her body issues are hers to deal with. In the end, my guess is she's having a really hard time with the changes, which probably isn't helping with her depression. She's likely oversensitive to the weight issue and was looking for her best friend to just tell her she looks great in a bikini. And it's not your fault that you didn't get that. It's just really unfortunate. Also, it was a loaded question. Whatever OP said was going to be the wrong answer. If she said the bikini was better and she didn't look fat, Ali would say she's lying and trying to make her look bad. The bottom line is that she was looking for a fight, and it had to do with her own insecurities, especially looking at her former slim self in OP. This was a lose-lose situation, but everyone's the idiot. Your friend sucks for projecting her feelings about her weight gain onto you, but you shouldn't have snapped. You can try turning the question around. Damn lady, I think you look fabulous in both of them. Which one makes you feel amazing? Or even, I would wear the one you're most comfortable in. Nothing worse than pulling at a bathing suit all day. Now chop chop, the pool is waiting. She used to be very slim and skinny like me was telling for me. OP sounds like a fat shamer. It's messed up that half the comments here are, she obviously didn't look good in the bikini, you were just being honest. How do we know that? OP said herself she thought the two-piece was cute on her, but the one-piece was cuter. Why couldn't she have just said that instead of provoking her friend's insecurities? I fail to see how a bikini is automatically not an option because she's bigger than she used to be. Why do we constantly expect people to cover up their bodies after a certain size? A bathing suit is a bathing suit, and her comfort should have been the main concern over anything else. My wife, 33 female, and I, 35 male, have been married for 3 years. Her family is very tight-knit, and every month they have a family get-together at my wife's parents' house. It's always on Sundays because my wife's siblings have kids and they all have activities on Saturdays, so Sunday is the only free day everyone has. They live a 3-hour drive from us. We always make a day trip because obviously we have to work on Monday. Needless to say, it's a lot of driving in one day. The get-together is usually just a nice meal and some games, nothing too fancy or crazy. I like her family and enjoy hanging out with them, but there have been times when I don't feel like going and there's no hard feelings about not attending. The problem is that if I don't attend, my wife doesn't attend. She's a very anxious driver, especially on freeways and highways where aggressive drivers and semi-trucks tend to be more common. She's never been in an accident or anything like that, she just doesn't feel comfortable driving long distances on freeways with speeding cars. It freaks her out. So if I don't go, she won't drive herself there. There also isn't anyone else from her family that lives nearby could come pick her up without adding at least 2 hours to their drive. Last month we didn't attend because I'd just gotten back from a work trip and wanted to use that weekend to relax at home. My wife and in-laws understood. This month's get-together is coming this Sunday. My wife is adamant that we attend this one because we missed the last one. I told her I'll go, but she's going to have to drive at least one leg of the trip. I don't want to be driving for 6 hours like every other time. This started a fight because she said I know how much she hates driving on freeways and that's too far of a drive for her to keep from freaking out. I told her that if she wants to keep driving 6 hours in a day to see her family every month, then she's going to need to start driving at least half of it because I'm tired of doing all that driving by myself. I told her that I will be with her in the car and will be a good co-pilot to keep her calm and focused, unlike when I drive and she buries her face in her phone for 2/3 of the drive. I told her we can take it slow and easy and it'll be good practice for her to become more comfortable with that type of driving. She's not agreeing to this and is insisting that I drive like every other time because of her anxiety about it. I'm refusing to budge and told her that this is something for her family, so she needs to start putting in at least some effort to make it happen. She thinks I'm being a jerk about it and not taking her feelings into consideration and being dismissive of her anxiety. We've not come to an agreement on this yet, but I really don't want to give in. Driving 6 hours in a day can be exhausting, and I'm tired of being the only one to do it, especially when it's every month. Am I the idiot for refusing to drive to my wife's monthly family get-together? Not the idiot. Maybe you're being dismissive of her anxiety, but she's also being dismissive of yours. A monthly 6-hour round trip sounds exhausting. It seems like you've been a champ about it thus far. You'll eventually have to come to a long-term compromise, though. Anxiety is a real thing, but so are tools to combat and minimize it. If she can't work her way up to at least half of the drive, then it's not fair. I think this behaviour borders really close to weaponised incompetence. You are the idiot. Trying to fix it by having her drive on the highway is not a safe idea. She will be so tense and keyed up that she'll be a dangerous driver. I'd sit down and apologise for setting an unreasonable timeline. Her phobia isn't her fault, but it is her responsibility. Tell her that you'd like to help her, but you're aware this isn't something that gets fixed overnight or by amateurs. Remind her that this phobia is limiting both of your abilities to live your lives, and it will eventually put her in a tough spot. At some point, she'll need to be able to get to her parents when you're on a business trip, or injured or otherwise incapable of helping. She'll feel so much better knowing that she can get there in an emergency. A few weeks ago, a friend, 27 female from high school, reached out to me. She wanted to stay at my house while in town for a concert. I honestly hadn't thought about this person in a while. We used to be friends but went to different colleges and just didn't really keep in touch. I was surprised but said okay. She said they were in town for a concert. In the lead-up, she never mentioned a dog. Well, she showed up, she had a dog. Now, I'm not a dog person at all and don't own any pets. They aren't my jam. I told her she couldn't stay with me as I don't allow animals in my house. Well, she dropped the service dog info on me and told me she didn't have anywhere else to go. I don't care what it's for, it's not staying in my house. I was just kind of stunned at everything going on. I told her I don't want dog hair in my house and generally don't want it around. I told her I was doing you a favour, but now you're pushing it. She starts arguing with me that the dog isn't a pet. I told her I don't care, I don't want it in my house. I closed the door. She bangs on my door and calls me an idiot. After a few minutes, she left. She put me on blast on social media, and now I'm getting some feedback on how I'm an idiot from people online. I thought it was rude as heck to show up with a dog, even a service dog. Not the idiot. First off, fake service dogs are so rampant that I have to seriously question if it actually is one. Secondly, although public facilities need to accommodate service dogs, your home is not a public facility. You were doing her a favour. She was acting shady by not telling you about the dog in advance and was hoping that when you were put on the spot you just cave. Even in the unlikely event it was a real service dog, it's still a dog, will dirty up your house, get fur everywhere, and use your yard. Respond to her post that it's rude to call someone after X years to ask for a place to stay during a concert, but not to mention you have a dog. You can't just show up on someone's doorstep with animals and expect everything to be okay. You don't know what their health situation is. You could be allergic to dogs. Then what? Info? Was this a festival or an outdoor concert? Was she going to bring a dog into mosh pit? I'm guessing she was leaving it with you. She knew exactly what she was doing when she didn't tell you about her dog. She was obviously surprised you stuck to your guns and said no. I'm a huge animal person, and I would never expect someone to just accommodate my pet without notice. My sister and I grew up in poverty, were homeless as kids, and never were taught how to manage money or make it last. When we were adults, we got jobs and moved in together. I made minimum wage while she made decent money. I would also watch her cat for her when she was at work. Worked fly in, fly out. One day we got into an argument because I got accepted for a well-paying job that unfortunately meant I also wouldn't be home for a couple of days at a time. She lost it and said if I couldn't take care of her cat, then I had to leave or pay all the rent so she could hire a cat sitter. She then threatened me with violence and getting rid of all my belongings if I didn't go immediately. So I was made homeless in the middle of winter. Luckily, I was able to crash on my friend's couch until I saved up for a new place. A couple months later, my sister and I talked and she apologised. I accepted the apology, but our relationship hasn't been the same. Now, it's been about 3 years since then. My sister called and said that she'd missed a lot of work due to this or that and needed help with money for rent. I paid her rent because even though she made me homeless, I don't want her to go through that. Now a month later, she called again and is asking for more money and is promising to eventually pay it back. I honestly have little trust that she will because she never learned to manage money. I told her that the position she puts me in sucks because she literally made me homeless and didn't care about my financial struggle at all when I had nothing. She said she didn't know what to say because I was right and it was crappy of her. I feel bad because I hate hurting people and I know how bad the price of living is right now. So, am I the idiot for not helping my sister financially? Not the idiot. You've already helped her, which is more than she did for you. And if you keep helping her, she could end up taking advantage. Personally, I would think about helping her with her finances and see if she could afford to pay you back if you lend it. Make sure you get any agreement about money in writing to cover yourself if it does go sour. She picked a cat over you. I think you really need to let that sink in. It doesn't matter that she said I'm sorry, that means nothing without action behind it, and from this story it doesn't sound like she put any actual actions to show how sorry she truly is. You've already done enough and have supported her way more than she did for you. She shouldn't feel bad about not paying for her rent because she literally didn't care if you were homeless, so why should you? I would say tell her to seek some mental help, but you can't support her financially. OP, wake up. She's not going to pay back what she owes you, and it sounds like if you keep bailing her out, she's going to keep asking for more. Info, why does your sister's cat need constant attention and care? Cats are pretty self-sufficient. Just throw down some food, water and a clean litter box, and they'll be okay for a couple of days. I think there was other reason for kicking you out.